Okay, I get a lot of questions on drag tips, and there's a big difference between the drag tip and drag consumables that are shielded that manufacturers make for their plasma cutters. Anyway, some of the questions are, I want a drag tip for my machine. Well, you don't always have what's called a drag tip for different machines. Some machines have it, some machines don't. And here's the way I break it down and try to help people out. This is my first time doing this, so please bear with me here, because some things may not look as good as I would like. I'd like just trying this, okay? So here we go. Let's start off this way. Now, these are all basic drag consumables. Okay, in the back there, on the left, is 40 amp short and long drag tips, or nozzles, whichever way you want to put it, for an Eastwood 40 amp machine. Then on the right in the back there are a short and long drag tip or nozzle for the Eastwood 60 amp unit. That being because they are high frequency machines. Now, in front of them, on the left, the 4 units there, those all fit the PT31 torch. That's the cheap torch. It's on most of the cheaper machines to cut 30s, to cut 40s, to cut 50s that are sold here in the United States from China. And these are all drag consumables. They do not make a non-drag consumable for the PT31. All these can be drug on the cutting metal and do your cutting. On the right is the big chrome one. That is also for the cheaper torch, which is the 60 series torch, MC60 or whatever it is, MSC60, and the SG60 and so on. Those consumables come in, 40, 50, 60, 70 amp. And there again, they're high frequency machines. These consumables are made to drag on the metal. Yes, you can have a little offset and keep them off the metal, because with all high frequency machines and dragging something on the metal, you have what's called sticking. And you can feel that because the tip wants to weld itself to the metal. That's why they chrome plate them over the copper a lot of times. Now, as you can see by that big chrome one, maybe I can get a little closer here. See if I can open it up. Anyway, can't see it very well, but the way it's designed, it's made to drag because of the X. It relieves the air pressure on the side, does the same thing as the other ones. Now, these are all for high frequency machines. There's others out there, and I don't have a bunch of them in stock, so we're going to stop there. Now, where we're going to go next is these consumables right here. These consumables here in the front, on the left, are also what you would call drag consumables. Now, these are for non-high frequency machines. The two on the left are for the IPT, PT 40 and 60 torches, non-high frequency. They're only rated for 40 amps. The one in the middle there is for the S45 style torch, which is non-high frequency, and it's also rated for 40 amps. The one on the right is for the thermodynamics SL60 torch, and it's also considered a drag consumable. Although it does look different than all the rest, that's what thermodynamics considers that tip or nozzle at. And it's also rated at 40 amps. Now, non-high frequency drag tips are all rated for 40 amps or less. Other than a special one made for the thermodynamics, which is rated at 60, but it's technically an insulated tip or nozzle, and so you can run it at 60, but they don't make anything else. Nobody makes a drag tip for any machine over 40 amps other than that one special one. Okay? Now, that being said, these work. There's a lot of technical stuff into the non-high frequency machines of why you don't drag your consumables on the metal, but we can't get into that right now. So, let's go over to what's called shielded consumables. Now, shielded consumables are all for non-high frequency machines. And here we have a few. Okay, now, on the right, all the way over here, these are what's called shielded consumables. You have a retaining cup, a shield, and a special tip or nozzle. The nozzle goes inside. The cup, the shield screws onto the cup and protects the tip from ever touching the workpiece. So you drag the shield. As the shield wears, you replace them. This makes the consumables last longer. Now, the first three here are different ones. The one on the right is for the IPT PT80 torch, 80 amp consumables. The one in the center is the IPT 40 and 60 torch, and they're the extended drag consumables. And the one on the left is also for the IPT 40 and 60 torch, and that's standard drag consumables. And as you can see, the nozzles are made totally different than your standard pointy nozzles or your flat tip nozzles that are non-shielded and you do not drag on the work. Now we go over a little farther to these three. The one on the right is Thermodynamics SL series torch, one torch, drag consumable shielded. As you can see, it has a different retaining cup. The shield would screw into the retaining cup, and the tip or nozzle is for that, and you can get them mixed up if you're not careful. Let's get in here and see if we can do this. This one here, as you can see, is pointed on the end, and I'll bring in the drag one. This one was the drag one. You see how flat it was on the end? You can't put that in there. It will short out. Anyway, let's go back to that. The second one, this one in the middle there, is for one of the older thermodynamic setups. As you can see, the drag shield would screw on. And the one on the left, well, the retaining cup has some wear on it there, but this is for the newer Power Max units that are like the Power Max 45 XP, the 65, the 85, the 105. And that's the shielded drag consumables that Hypertherm uses on all their units right now. So anyway, there's a lot of things involved in your drag consumables for your shielded units versus your drag tips for non-shielded units. So I hope this helps a little bit on the difference between them. And like I said, bear with me because this is my first time at this. Hopefully it will work out. Take care, have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.